What's up, guys? Alright, so just to continue the video from the other night, we were working on my buddy's head and the 240SX, and you know, project race car, we were making some good progress with it and everything, but you know, sadly, this is how the garage is set up right now. So I had to push it all the way up there. I had to get the SingleSlamer, one and only, back in the garage. I bet you're wondering why, but let me just show you why. That right there. So SingleSlamer's back in the garage. I drove it, I got it plated, I got the tires mounted, I put the radio in, as you've seen. Everything was going good. I drove it down the road, everything seemed fine, and then I took it for its long maiden voyage. So I filled it full of gas, drove an hour across town to the other side of town to Harbor Freight to run and get some things for Project Race Car, thinking, oh yes, I finally have a SingleSlamer again. It gets great gas mileage. I drove all the way there, back, idled for a half hour while I did some other things and whatnot, and it's still on full, which is what I love about Hondas. But, and here's the big but, fifth gear pops out all the damn time. And it drives me insane. I pretty much had to drive it in fourth gear all the way back. Still got great gas mileage, still on full, but I'm not dealing with that. Plus, when I put it in, the input shaft bearing is noisy, so I kind of knew the transmission was like kind of worn, but it didn't grind, it shifted fine, and on short drives it seemed to do fine with fifth gear, but I didn't really get it up to speed to really have it in fifth gear much. I pretty much would just drive it down the road, floor it 1 through 3, and then bring it back home. So after about 20 minutes of being in fifth, it just started popping out. I put it back in, it'd stay in there for a little bit, pop back out, and repeat. And sometimes it would pop out, put it in, pop out, put it in, pop out. And I'll tell you, that is really annoying. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the transmission. It sucks. I hate diverting from one project to another or back to another one when I thought this one was good, especially knowing that I gotta go back to work here in a couple days, and I was trying to knock out a few more things with the race car. But we're gonna get it done and everything like that. So, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna have to pull the airbox. We're gonna have to pull the starter. We're gonna have to pull the wiring. We're gonna have to pull the shift linkage. We're gonna have to pull the back mount. We're gonna have to pull the side mount. We're gonna have to pull this side of axles. So that gives you just an idea of what all has to come out in order to get the transmission out. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. I guess it's a blessing in disguise. We're going to put the original transmission back in, the OBD2 transmission, which is an EX transmission, so it's the quick geared transmission. So that'll fix that, because as we remember, this was a D series, or I'm sorry, a DX transmission. So it's the longer gear transmission. It's not really bad. It's an LX DX transmission. It's pretty decent. Probably would have been decent for boost. Either way, we're going to put the EX transmission back into the SingleSlamer and get her on the road. What up, guys? Alright, so we're banging out the SingleSlamer and everything like that, so I just thought I'd give you an update, because, you know, I'm not trying to bore you with time-lapse and all this stuff and everything. I'm just trying to get work done and just share my experiences. So here we are, we're looking at the car and everything like that, so I'll give you a quick update on where we're at. So, we have all the axles removed from both sides. We have the starter out, we have the air intake box out, we have all the wiring off, we have the slave cylinder off, we have the top bell housing bolts off. So now I got to get the back mount bolts off, the shift linkage off, and the couple undercarriage mounts, and then pretty much I'll be ready to get in position to get this thing out. So all that'll be left is this back mount and this torque mount. So I'll remove this torque mount, which is right on the front here, right here. There's 4 bolts, or 3 bolts. I'll remove this torque mount. So all we're going to be down to is just this back mount. And then I'll get a jack or whatever underneath of it and pretty much go from there and lower the transmission down and everything like that. So yeah, we're just plugging along, just knocking this out and everything like that. It's been probably about an hour and 15 minutes, and we almost got this thing out. Alright guys, so we got the transmission out. So there's our replacement, the original one that came out of the car, and this is the one that we put in the car and is giving me problems. So let me just show you, if hopefully you can hear this, but hopefully you heard that and you can hear how noisy it is. This is how it should be. Notice how you don't hear anything. There's also, it doesn't feel like as much play in the way this feels, but you can hear it. that input shaft bearing is just done. So you on this one, you probably have to split the case apart, and it probably sits right down in this area somewhere, because that's where I hear the noise the most. Either way, this transmission's worn. I'll probably keep it, rebuild it maybe later or use the gear set if I want to have the DX gears. But yeah, we're gonna swap this bad boy back in here shortly, and we'll have the car back on the road. I wish I had the time to do a DIY. But lately, I need to get stuff done, and I've just noticed that I'm either going to have to do step-by-step instructions videos or get work done videos and just kind of let you guys follow along. And right now, due to the workload and the pressure I'm under, time constraints, I just got to get work done. And I want to share it with you guys, and I'm trying to do the best I can. Hopefully you like it. If you have any suggestions, comment down below. But this is probably how the videos are going to be right now. I can't really sit there and break down exactly how to do everything. Just give you the pointers I can when I come across them. And other than that, it's just going to be me sharing my experiences as I get work done. Because that's the end goal, is get work done, go drifting, have fun, and do it all over again. And if you feel me, give me a like. What's up, everybody? Alright, so we're getting ready to put the transmission back in, and just as like a precautionary thing, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and check the clutch. So I pulled the clutch off the old engine, and I'll show you that now. So here it is. Nothing fancy. It's pretty worn, but it's not terrible. But it was pretty close to the grooves and everything like that. So then I decided to take a look at the clutch that was in the car, because I was like, I'm not going to pull this transmission again if the clutch is worn and everything. I mean, it drove fine, but I was like, what's the better clutch between the two engines? Because I can swap flywheels and clutch kits all day long. I mean, I have the engine, I already have training out. That's no big deal. So I took a look at the clutch that's in the car, and luckily enough, it's a brand new XZD, just OEM replacement DAC and clutch. So I'm extremely happy. So yeah. We're going to leave that in there. I took the pressure plate off. I inspected the disc. It's got like max thickness. It's still in great shape. It's like literally brand new. So bolted that up, torqued the pressure plate all back down, which is 19 foot-pounds in case you're curious. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this transmission back in. So yeah. What is up, guys? Alright, so I've made some progress, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So the transmission is in. Alright, so I got pretty much everything underneath the car done. The shift linkage, the rear mount, all the bell housing bolts and everything except for one or two up front here, the starter. So I'm going to put the starter in, I'm going to put the wiring all back to where it needs to be, the slave cylinder, the axles, all that stuff. So we're making good time and everything like that. It's been about an hour. So it's yeah, it's 12:45, so it's been exactly an hour, and it's back in and mounted and everything like that. So we're making great time. We should be able to have the transmission done by 1:30 or 2, maybe, depending on what I tinker with, or if I run into any issues. But so far, everything's going pretty good. Probably helps I had this all apart just a couple weeks ago, but you know, either way, we're getting stuff done. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. We get the SingleSlamer back on the road, running like she should, and driving like she should, and everything like that. And maybe, just maybe, if I feel up to it and I get things done in time. Maybe. Just maybe. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the car's already up in the air. It maybe I'll just go ahead and do it. I'm not sure. But if not, I have another box hidden underneath the McDonald's. You can't see it, but if you see the Big Mac, it's right below it. Right below it. So yeah, as you, I don't know if I told you. I might have told you. Either way, I think I told you, but I do have coilovers for the car, so maybe we'll throw those on. I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. It's still early. It's before 1 o'clock. We almost got transmission done. That's our task for the number 1, our main priority. The rest is just all in just in case. So we'll just see what happens and how the day goes. All right, I'm getting back to work. All right, guys. So I'm working on the Honda and everything like that. And one of the things we have to get done are the brakes. So the transmission is pretty much done. I'll give you an update on that here in a little bit. I just wanted to basically go over this a little bit. So the brakes were unevenly worn and everything like that. And it was mainly due to your guide pins. So these are your guide pins right here and everything, and these are extremely important. So if you can see here, these are not in very good shape. So all we gotta do is clean them up and everything like that, and it'll be fine. But they grease dried up, got sticky, and the pin stopped sliding, so then they just stopped functioning properly. You get pulsations, you get poor braking performance, and it just plain sucks. So we're gonna clean all this stuff up, and I just kind of wanted to go over how I tend to do that. So my the guide pins here, I'll take all these rubber boots off, and I usually just run them on the wire brush and clean them all up. So that'll take care of that. I usually like to just clean these out with brake cleaner. These are your seals, so we'll clean these all out, get all this old grease that's all dry up in here and everything like that. Get those all cleaned up. These we'll just shoot with some brake clean and try to clean them up as well with just whatever, some Scotch-Brite, a wire brush, whatever we can do. But these brackets here, this is a big thing here that is partly the cause here. I'm not sure if you can really see that because I'm not sure if it really gives you a light, but you can see the dried grease and just kind of slightly rusty, just not very good condition. And this one as well is kind of rusty and everything like that. So I went to Harbor Freight a long time ago because my wife had the same problem on her car, and I picked up these things. These are little bore brushes, and they're steel, and they go on a drill, which is really nice because I just stick them in my drill, and then I just and clean out the bores to get all the rust and everything, to get the pins in there, clearance and sliding properly and everything. So these work great. You can buy the whole kit. And you know, I purchased this, not sponsored, but it's a 20-piece engine brush kit is what it comes with. It comes with nylon, brass, and steel. I use mostly the steel for, you know, cast iron or steel parts. I haven't really needed the other things, but the item number is down there. It's 69020. It's a great little thing to have for when you're cleaning out bores and everything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna get a drill and everything like that, some brake cleaning, and I'll show you what happens here. Alright guys, so I'm not sure how well you can tell, but you see this is the one that was not affected. It's nice and clean. This is the one that was. It's really hard to tell, but let me get a light real quick. Well, you can't really see inside the bore, but it cleaned the bore up really nicely, nice and smooth. It even got most of the rust around the edges of it cleaned up. But yeah, so I'll just show you exactly what you do. It's very simple and everything with the next one. You take it and you stick it in here and you clean it out. And you can see that one, it cleaned out a lot better too. So then, you know, we'll take our pins and basically now they slide nice and easy like they should and everything. So that's how we're gonna save this instead of replacing all these brackets. And as you can see, I cleaned up all the pins and everything, so they look all nice and clean again and everything. So we're gonna clean these brackets out a little bit more, and then we'll lube everything, we'll reassemble and put everything back together. Yeah, that's just a little how-to about, you know, some of the things you can do when you have to recondition parts because you can't get replacements, or you can't afford replacements, or you're just trying to maintain a small budget like I am. There's nothing wrong with this. We're just basically reconditioning the parts so they can continue service. Hopefully that helped you out, but I'm gonna get back to work. What is up, everybody? Alright, so I just went and got a bite to eat and everything like that. I had to fill my belly. I was getting a little hungry, and we're just back at it in the garage doing some more stuff. So, to give you an update, the engine bay is all back together. Everything's good there. The brakes are all back together and everything's good there. Axles are in. I mean, pretty much everything's good to go. But I think I'm gonna mess with these coilovers. I'm gonna take a look at them. I may just go ahead and swap them since I already have the front suspension still slightly torn apart. All I gotta do is remove one bolt, and I could take the three bolts, and I could put the front coilovers in. So I'm really think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So stand by, let me figure it out and decide what I'm gonna do. And here we go, guys. Just in store for our SingleSlamer. The one, the only, the MAXpeedingRods. That is right. Shout out to Hoonigans for representing MAXpeedingRods. I looked them up. They had them for the Civic, 230 bucks shipped. So, yeah, they look all right. You know, we're gonna give them a shot. We're gonna try them out. What could go wrong? I mean, $230 for coilovers. Honestly, I mean, they might ride like shit or whatnot, but they're pretty decently like put together. I mean, they're spring adjustable, they're not dampening, but they're shock height adjustable, so you don't lose travel. You know, decent aluminum mounts. I mean, hey, I couldn't build a $200 coilover for better, you know. So, hey, we'll see if they work, right? Why not? Let's give it a shot. Project budget SingleSlamer. So we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna get these prepped, and we're gonna throw the front ones on, and then hopefully the rear ones go on as well, because you know how Hondas can be with their rear strut bolts and everything like that. So we'll just see what happens, but stay tuned. Let me get things going. Alright, so looking at these can extend pretty good. So I'm not trying to slam the car, I'm just trying to lower it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one of the OEM struts out. I'm going to set it up next to that. I'm going to calculate and screw it in until it's like an inch or so shorter, maybe an inch and a half. And then we'll just set the other one to match, and we'll go from there and see how low it actually goes to a decent height, so that the wheel gap isn't so high. Alright, for any of those installing MAXpeedingRods onto your Civic, they're obviously a multi-application and everything like that. They come with these sleeve adapters to fit with the vehicle, the model I'm using, but the sleeve doesn't allow the bolt in the shock perch to go through. So all I did was grind a little relief for the bolt to slide right by, and boom, now it'll fit in there, and then the bolt can slide right through there and tighten up, and yeah, should be good to go. I also won't be needing this brake line kit, so I'm going to take that off. But yeah, so finding out little quirks. There's no real instructions, so it's kind of like, you know, figure it out basically. But so I found that out, wasn't too hard, you know, got it worked out. So yeah, note to anybody installing these, that's what you got to do. All right, back to work. All right, so now that we have our factory strut and everything out and our new MAXpeedingRod, basically we're going to look at the length and shorten it. So the stock one mounts up here and here, so you know we're looking at roughly a 2-inch difference or whatever. So you know we'll probably just go with that and see how she looks, and if we have to adjust it later, we'll adjust it later. So yeah, I'm gonna just eyeball it, and then we'll just set the other one to match, and then we'll throw them back in. Alright guys, so there we have our coilover installed and everything like that. Everything is finalized. We got our tie rods torqued, our lower ball joint torqued. We got our brakes all changed and everything like that. We got everything tightened up. We got our axle nut torqued and everything. So we're good to go ahead and put the wheels on and keep moving forward. Alright guys, so I got the front all done. I took it for a test drive. Everything works great so far. No popping out, no random whirring noise like the other transmission. It feels better, it runs smoother and everything like that. I can't really get you the best view, but this is where the coilovers are sitting right now at the front, which is about perfect. It's not super slammed. It's still got plenty of ground clearance for now, but it looks a lot better. So now we just have to tackle the rear, because the rear is way too high. So we'll do that tomorrow. I'm gonna pretty much wrap it up here. What up to the YouTube fam? I'm just sitting here still grinding. Alright, so this is day 2 or day 3 or day 16 of working on stuff. But either way, we are back in the garage. Project SingleSlamer. We started last night with the MAXpeedingRods. We got the front coilovers installed. She's looking a lot better. Not super slammed or anything like that. Just a tasteful drop. So now we have to get the rears done. I'm gonna go ahead and get the wheels off, try to get started, see how much of a pain this is gonna be, and I'm just gonna share with you guys as I go along. Alright guys, so we're making some progress on the SingleSlamer. Alright, so I went to remove the rear bolts that hold the control arm and the struts on it, and normally on Hondas they all break and everything like that. And so far, out of the 6 bolts, I've gotten 5 out. One is giving me some trouble. I'm letting it soak in some PB Blaster. I'm hoping that loosens it up. If not, I'll use my propane torch, try to heat it up a little bit, see if that'll get it. But technically, if I feel like it's not going to come out and I'm going to break it, I'm just going to stop, because I already got all the strut bolts out, so I can take the struts in and out and just leave the factory control arms. I had some control arms left over from my last Civic. They're
right there. They're pretty raggedy looking, but they're still pretty decent. I mean, they're just, the coatings wore off on it.
Like I said, if I can't get this one bolt out, I'm just going to basically change the struts and leave factory control arms in. It'll be good enough for now, and we can get our coilovers installed. So I'm just gonna keep plugging away. We are making progress and everything like that, so I'm extremely happy that I'll at least be able to get the coilovers on today. So,
in here, it's kind of hard to see, but so there's the top of our strut right there. We're going to take out the two 14mm bolts, and we'll be able to pull the strut on this side, and then we'll open up this side over here and get the same thing done.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get that started, get our struts out, and then try to set the new coilovers up. I have no idea where to set them because the fronts, I just made it like roughly 2 inches lower. So I don't have a tape measure with me right now. I'm just gonna eyeball it, see how it sits after I'm done, and if I need to adjust it. If not, if it's close enough, I'll let it ride for now. Just set the left and right rears equal to each other. If it's a little higher or a little lower than the front, I might just let it ride because I'm just trying to get them on for now and adjust them later. But either way, I'm gonna keep working and everything, and I'll update you guys as I go.
Alright guys, here's our old crusty shock and coil spring, and here's our new coilover. Looking at this is quite a bit of a difference, so we're going to extend these out. I did about 2 inches on the front, so I'm going to see if I can do about 2-inch difference between this and this on the rear and see if it works out like it did on the front. I hope so. One thing to note about these coilovers is they come with these adapters, since like I said, this is a multi-application, can fit EG, EK, probably even 2001 and newer. Either way, it comes with these washers that fit inside here to take up the space so that it adapts it down to the proper space it needs to be. The only other difference, it doesn't have a welded on nut, so I had to find a couple nuts that match up with the lower strut mount bolt, so I did that. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust these, and then we'll get this side in and you know, slap it all back together.
I was not able to get that last bolt out. As I was starting to turn it, I started to hear it crunch and crackle, which means it was starting to twist the bushing, which means it seized to the sleeve inside the bushing. If I would have continued, it would have broke the bolt, so I just tightened it back up, left it alone. I'll change it out some other time during summer. I'm not worried about it. As long as I could put these coilovers on, I did not care whether I changed the control arms or not. So we're just gonna leave the factory control arms in and put these coilovers in. So stay tuned, I'll get back with you guys after we get these installed.
Alright guys, so there's one side installed and everything like that. We got our OEM control arm all back in, everything's been anti-seized and tightened and everything like that. So hopefully the next time I gotta pull this apart when I go to change out some of this stuff, because we're planning on doing a disc brake conversion of camber arms, lower control arms, you know, all the stuff like that. But hopefully it'll come out easier. But yeah, so I'm gonna get the wheel back on, and then we're gonna move on to the next side. All right guys, so we got it back on the ground, and I know it's kind of hard to see. I'll pull it outside and show you, but so we got a pretty decent drop actually. I think I got it right where I want it right off the bat, just guessing. Obviously there could be a small change of like an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever between it. It's all got to settle, you know, as with all suspension, springs settle and everything like that. So what I'll do is I'll drive it for a little while, and then once it warms up and the snow melts, I'll take some measurements and see exactly where it's at.
I'm super stoked to have the SingleSlamer done and on the road and driving again. Now with coilovers, new front brakes, the new transmission. I mean, we just knocked it out over the last 2 days.
All right, there she is. Honestly, I think that drop is perfect. I am super happy with the way that looks. The front could maybe go down a little bit, but as it is winter, as you can see by all the snow and everything like that, I am very pleased with the way that looks. Super happy with the outcome, especially because I didn't have to do any secondary adjustments. Just slapped them in where they were, and it's good enough for now. I'm excited to see how these things drive and ride and everything like that. But here she is, SingleSlamer, out of the garage, looking pretty good with the Acura wheels, the coilovers, just running, driving, nice little idle. You know, super happy. Everything should be good to go now. So we're gonna make a trip. We're gonna take a trip down to Rural King, grab a few things and everything like that. But that's pretty much gonna wrap up today's video and everything. I'm pretty much burned out on the garage, been just grinding so hard and everything. I'm gonna just go chill, maybe play some video games, clean out the garage for my wife already. So just wait until she gets home and then just kick it with them and the family before I have to go back to work tomorrow. So yeah, talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll check you out on the next video. Peace.